Well, folks, welcome back. We at Matrix Uploaded are doing factorization of trinomials. Let's have a look at what we did in the previous lesson. We had to factorize this thing. Now remember, guys, it's easy if you've got the two brackets to multiply out and get the answer. What if you reverse it? That's factorization. How do you get from x squared plus 2x minus 15? How do you get to this? Okay, and I'm going to show you how. Notice that firstly that's a minus, so the signs in the brackets are different. So I'm going to go to a blank slide and let's have a look at how we do this. Well, guys, let's write the problem down. We've got x squared, and what have we got? Plus 2x minus 15. We've got to factorize it, but what do we know? We know that we've got a plus and a minus there. The signs are different because of the last term. Now, write down the product options there. You've got x and x. 15 potentially could be 5 and 3, or 15 and 1. Okay, but which of these will give you closest to 2? It's definitely 5 and 3. Okay, now what do we know? If we write down the 5 and the 3 there and we cross multiply, x times 3 is 3x, 5 times x is 5x. Now, the secret is you've got to get the middle term 2x with different signs, and the only way that I can imagine would be if you said positive 5 minus 3. So what we do is we write the x and the x there, and we push the positive 5 and the negative 3 there. Now watch this. X squared minus 15 if you multiply, 5x minus 3. If you times out, you get there. You have factorized using this thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful technique. Okay, so we move on to another one. Let's have a look at this. If you have a look at this one, factorize that, and the answer comes out. Notice the sign is a minus, so it's got to be a minus and a plus, different signs. But how do we get that? Well, let's see what we can do. Well, if you have a look at this, let's get a pen going here. Well, if you look at this here, what do we know? Okay, what is the product of x squared? Well, we've got x and x. Okay, now careful. 6 could be 3 multiplied by 2 or 6 times 1. But both of these could give you 5 or minus 5. But the thing is, if you're using different signs, we would go for this one. Why? Because if you think about it carefully, negative 6 plus 1 is minus 5. With 3 and 2, you can only use 2 negatives, which is not going to work. So I'm going to use 6 and 1. 1 times x is 1x. 6 times x is 6x. Okay, now again, what do we know? It's negative 6 plus the 1. So it's x minus 6 and x plus 1 multiplied out, and it works, which makes it such an amazing thing. Okay, let's look at another one quickly. Because look at the third example. Okay, this one's interesting because now we've got a plus, which means the signs have got to be the same. Now, if that's a plus, it means the signs are the same. If that's a plus, we write 2 pluses. Now, notice it's very simple to see if you look at the factors of 30. Okay, what do I do? Well, simply, I've got x and x, but if you look at 30, the factors are clearly 6 times 5, 30 multiplied by 1, in fact, 15 times 2, and if you look at that, which ones would give you closest to 11? It's definitely 6 and 5. Now, with same signs, it would be x and x, 6 and 5, cross multiply, 6x, 5x. Can we get the middle term 11x? Yes, we can. Very much. We can do it by simply saying that that's going to be 6x plus 5x, and there we go. Okay, let's have a look at more advanced trinomials. Have a look at example 1. Now, this one's a little bit more difficult. Again, there's a minus, there's no common factor, but there's a number next to the x squared there, which is quite a challenge. Now, how do we approach it? Well, firstly, we know that the minus tells us that there's going to be 2 different signs. So let's write this thing down. If we have a look here, there's 2 minuses, a minus and a plus, but how do we get all those factors? Well, let's go to a blank slide and write this down and check it out. Well, okay, let me write the problem down. It's 21x squared, and we've got plus 25x minus 4. We know that we're dealing with different signs, so let's make that a minus and a plus, okay, or a plus and a minus. Okay, now what you do is you can take the factors of 21. That's 7x and 3x. Or 21x, I wouldn't really use that one. And then what do we have here? We can look at the factors of 4 as 4 and 1, or 1 and 4. Just swap them around there. Or you've got 2 and 2. Now, the idea is to get the middle term by crossing these things here. Well, let's see, how do we do it? Well, I'm going to definitely use, let's try these two. Take those two there. Now, if you go 7x and 3x, and you cross it with 1 and 4. That's one possibility. 7 times 4 is 28x. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3x. Now with those, with different signs, if I clearly go negative 3 plus 28, I will get my 25. So all I do is I say, well, that's 7x minus 1. So I write there 7x minus 1, and then clearly 3x plus 4. If you multiply out, it's going to most certainly work. No problem in that. Let's look at another sum as well. If we go to another one, have a look at that one. Well, now it's a plus. Now what's interesting, if it's a plus, you're going to have two negatives in there. They're the same signs. Again, how did I get that? Okay, well, let's go to a blank slide and explore that. Okay, let's write the problem down. What have we got? 5x squared minus 14x plus 8. Okay, no common factors either. We know that we've got two negatives. They're the same signs. Remember, if that's a plus, there's two negatives. What are the product options? 5x and x is the only one there. Okay, now what about 8? Well, 8 could be 4 and 2. Swap it around. 2 and 4, 1 and 8, or 8 and 1. Okay, now we need some options here. Well, we can only choose that one. And I'm going to, let's say we started with this here. Let's try those two. Okay, well, what do we know? Well, let's take it to the next. If we have a look here, let's take it to the next slide. Okay, if we look at that, I'm going to take 5x and x and 4 and 2. So let's write that down. So we've got 5x and x, and we cross it with 4 and 2 and see what we get. Well, that's 10x, that's going to be 4x, and we've got to get negative 14 with two negatives. What a pleasure. Look how easy that is. So your factors become 5x minus 4 and clearly x minus 2. Multiplied out, 5x squared plus 8, and it's negative 4 minus 10 gives you the very trinomial that you wanted. And there we go. What a pleasure. Isn't that beautiful? Very clear. Good mathematics to follow. Let's look at one more example quickly. Look at this one. Well, very importantly, you take out a common factor. You always check that to see if this thing's going to work. Okay, now check this. What do we know? Well, what is this here? 2, a minus, tells us different signs. And we've got the 2. Don't drop the 2 there. And what do we know? Okay, well, if you look at the product options that I'm going to use quickly, let's go to a pen. Yeah, well, if you took the ones that I used would be, for example, if you look at 2x and 5x, if you try that combination with, if we have a look there, let's try this. Let's go say 3 and 4 for the 12. This gives us 8x. This gives us 15x here. There we go. And with different signs, what a pleasure. If you go negative, what's that? Negative 15 plus 8 will give you negative 7 there. Okay, or plus 15 minus, yeah, or minus, let's go minus 15 plus 8 gives it to you, and there's your negative 7. So it's 2x minus 3, it's a minus there, and 5x plus 4. So, guys, these trinomials will live with you right through to your matric final exam. Very, very important. And in the next lesson, we're going to carry on and we're going to look at another technique called grouping. So don't go away. Stay with us on Matrics Uploaded. It's really cool being here with you.